we're late again. We're back in the Disneyland Hotel for the Happy Haunts event. We're at table 15. Let's go in. Yeah. Look what they got us for dinner. So we get to take these home. Isn't that amazing? There's these amazing little embroidered napkins that we get to just take home as our favors. And these really great Halloween pins that they gave us. They're from 2015, but they're still really awesome. And I am not mad at it. But this is what we had for dinner.
I'm a little low right now. Yeah.
Graveyard Garden. The chicken was really good. And I'm super excited for them to bring out the dessert.
Tonight we have a very rare opportunity that has never happened at any other Disneyana event. For guests tonight, we have Yale Sons.
Look at this.
Oh, you know what? They didn't bring
little tombstone.
Well, they must have been on.
That is adorable. This is the cutest thing ever. What did they say this was? It's a chocolate doom with raspberry goo sauce. Goo sauce. How cute is that?
They look like they're kind of burst open packages, and they have all the ghosts going around inside, which we did as well. This is the Sally from Japan. Most of you know we put a Sally recently, I guess it was last year, in the mansion here in the graveyard, but this one was a Sally that was, there's two Sallys in the mansion in Japan, and they've been there since the beginning. And there's her with the Vampire Teddy at the piano in the music room. She's listening to Vampire Teddy play the piano for her, and it makes you wish you had a music room here. That's kind of a neat scene. And then, well, this is the Sally we put here in this part, which is she's on the graves, or leaning on a gravestone, pining for Jack, looking across the track at Jack, kind of pining for him and Lincoln Rise. I should have carried this up in the very beginning.
Oh!
It doesn't fit, my head's too big. This is the original Jack that we saw in the Haunted Mansion. This is the original mask, and Disney replaced it. So when I went and replaced it, of course I kept the old one. And it's been around the shop, but this is the little head that's on there for probably the first 4 years, maybe. So if any of you saw Jack in the first 4 years, this is the Jack head that you saw in the graveyard. It's a little worse for wear in the back, it's a little oily, but it's been a great ride, and so much, as you can see, and I wanted to tell you that story a little bit at the beginning about how the Haunted Mansion is what drove a lot of me to what I did with the original haunted houses and things, trying to emulate basically Disney. I used to play the record in my haunted houses, and it meant so much to me what all these geniuses did. We were blessed to be able to the first time we loaded everything in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, they just handed us the keys. We would come in at night, it's like, it's yours, and for a couple months, we set that up, and, being the inquisitive person that I am, I think I went through everything in that place with a fine-tooth comb. Went up into the real attic, overlooking, walked around on top of the whole ride. It was just a dream come true, to be walking around in that place and thinking about the history and the probably untold millions of people that's entertained, with along with pirates and some of the other attractions. I mean, what a, and being in the entertainment business, we do not just Disney theme parks, we're working for Universal and all kinds of other parks worldwide. We worked in 34 different countries, almost 5,000 animatronic figures. To this day, there are don't think there's anything that holds a candle to the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. You know? Disney's done some great things. The new Pirates haven't seen it yet. Shanghai here, it's pretty cool. It only has like 4 animatronic figures in it. It's on screens, down the screens. 4 animatronics. No, there's some great stuff out there. That you go on all these cool things all over, but you always come back. Go on the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, the coolest things that were ever built as far as theme parks. And it's a great pleasure to have been able to be involved in them. And then a lot of purists in the Haunted Mansion world, Pirates and everything else that don't like the Haunted Mansion holiday, say that should never be, overlaid on top of that classic attraction. As a fan, yeah, I get it. And, I think we were just fortunate to be the ones at the front door when Disney said, we're going to do this. It's like, me. And, we got to do it. They were going to do it anyway, so don't be mad at me. But we have enjoyed being a part of it, being a part of the, it really revitalized a lot of the attendance to the park. And as much as I'm a purist, I was a fan a long time before I was a vendor. And I still am a fan, probably first before I'm even a vendor now. And, I love what they do, but the fans always have to remember, it's a business. It's a business, and it counts ticks as people come in the gate. And when people stop coming, then the attractions go away. We hate to see that, like Country Bear and a lot of that. You don't get the attendance. So if some of these overlays help the attendance stay up, that keeps some of our classic attractions around. So whatever, let them do it, But we love what we do, and I'm just so happy to have participated in such a wonderful thing, not in the beginning, but in the next era of what they did. And it means an awful lot to me. And thank you for listening, and I'm glad and honored to be here with you today. And I hope everybody has a wonderful time, and great Halloween, and a great Haunted Mansion holiday. Thank you very much.
They use the term master as a diminutive term for a young boy who wasn't old enough to be called Mr. So you have things like Master Lord Fauntleroy. And X chose that specifically because Yale had such a boyish attitude and a love of life. And in fact, one of the major moments in the Haunted Mansion came from a book that he loved as a boy, as a child. In fact, the book was called The Boy Mechanic, Volume 1, page 52. Isn't this great? I can do this without notes. Nobody's recording this, right, to double check? Released in 1913. And in there was a section on Pepper's Ghost, which was done by a magician, Henry Pepper. He didn't invent it, he refined it. In 1862, and again, just done with lights and glass, and you can create those because Yale's philosophy, as explained to me by Imagineer Rock Hall, who worked with him in 1982 on the new Fantasyland rehab, he said Yale's philosophy was keep it simple. And if you keep it simple, people's imagination will come up with all sorts of ideas, which we have, right? Oh, those ghosts, they've got to be holograms, right? All of it. No, it's not. It's simple. It's something you can do by yourself. And here's a little secret I think only Jeff knows, who's going to be talking right after me, is that the proof of concept of Pepper's Ghost that was built by Yale Gracey is now safely ensconced in the Magic Castle. So if you are a member or you have a friend who's a member, next time you're there, instead of listening to the piano that plays itself, ask if you can see Yale Gracey's little concept box there. Now, Yale was pretty amazing. He was born anticipating Disney expansion. He was born in Shanghai. So he was just there, oh my gosh, what, 100 years too early. But, so he was the son of an American consul, so since Disney hadn't gotten there yet, he went to an English boarding school, and then he went to several prestigious art schools, the Art Institute in Chicago, Chouinard in Los Angeles, and he joined the Disney company in 1939 as a layout artist on Pinocchio. And he did layout work for most of the animated features. Fantasia was one of them. He was moved to the Donald Duck unit, which was supervised by Jack Hanna doing the Donald Duck shorts. And Jack was a dear friend of mine, and he loved Yale Gracey, and he had only one regret. In 1959, Walt Disney decided that making animated shorts was too expensive. And so he was going to shut down some of the animation units. Jack Hanna's was one of them. But Jack Hanna made arrangements to go over to Walter Lantz, and he later made Woody Woodpecker films and Gabby Gator and all of that. And as part of the deal, he was able to bring along his animation unit. And his one regret is he could not bring along Yale Gracey, because Yale Gracey had gotten a better offer. Some of you are familiar with the fact that Walt would like to wander around the offices on Saturdays and all that and check what was going on. Well, on his lunch hours and his spare time, Yale was creating all sorts of little, gadgets and illusions and all of that. And one Saturday, Walt went in there and saw an illusion that Yale had created of falling snow. And so Walt goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but this guy should be over at WED. So in 1959, when the Donald Duck unit closed, Yale went over to WED. And Walt teamed him up with Rolly Crump, because Rolly Crump seemed to see life differently as well. And in fact, Rolly Crump, most people don't realize, was an amateur magician, and he had a copy of The Boy Mechanic, but a reprint from 1916 in his collection. And so the two of them got along very well, and Rolly was very self-effacing, and he said, Yale just came up with all of this stuff, and I built the boxes. That's it. He knew what he was doing. One of the first things Yale did is he started doing rehab in Fantasyland with Rolly. So the Mad Hatter teapot, the endless stream of tea, that's Yale Gracey. So he's doing all of these touch-ups, and Walt in 1959 assigned Yale and Rolly to work on the haunted house. And so that's what they did. They went and saw spooky movies. They even it took Walt to see 13 Ghosts from William Castle. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that. You had to wear the spectral glasses of the red and blue. And, so if you wanted to see the ghost, you looked through the red lens, and you didn't. You looked through the blue lens. I looked through the blue lens, and I think I could still see the ghost, so I was traumatized. Especially since it was at a drive-in. But they saw all of these, and here's a fascinating story that Rolly told me, and he's told this often, is at one point he turned to Yale and he said, have you ever had a supernatural experience or whatever? Just joking around. And Yale goes, yes. Now, to fully appreciate this story, you need to realize that Yale was a straight shooter. He didn't lie. He didn't exaggerate. If this was coming from Ward Kimball, I'd say, oh yeah, all right. When Yale was about 8 years old, his mother took him back east to visit his aunt. And so they were there for about a week, and he actually got to stay in this big bedroom with his cousins. And so about 2 days before they had to leave, at the breakfast table, Yale's mother looked at him and said, and what did you enjoy most, about this time out here? Figuring, he said, oh, well, it's great to, be with my cousins, or, I've never been back east before, and there's this food and all of this. And little 8-year-old Yale said, I like the little old woman who lives in the closet and comes out each night and reads us stories. And the cousins went crazy. They're shushing him and waving and all of this. So she went to the local library, she did some research, she found a photo of a woman who had owned that house, and it looked very much like Yale's description. So she brought it home, and yes, all the kids had to admit, yes, that's the woman. And what the cousins had been afraid of actually happened. As soon as she was identified, the little old woman in the closet never came out to read stories again.
Aww.
I know. That's so sad, right?
Does anyone here remember Rec Arts Disney or Alt Disney, Disneyland? Do you have any old school internet users, right? Okay, so that's back in the 90s, right? That was the day. That's when I became an internet user. And that's when GeoCities appeared and people started making home pages. You can make a fan site for your pet, your favorite band, your favorite movie star. And so I decided, what better than to make a fan page for my favorite Disneyland attraction, Haunted Mansion. And so that was 1997, about 20 years ago from now. I called the actual date of the launch October 31st for obvious reasons, but it's about 20 years ago from right about now when I put that up online on AOL. I was in the Rec Arts Disney news groups, and everyone had their cool names, right? There's the fabulous Disney page. Everyone had all these great names, and I was Jeff Baham. So I thought, well, everyone would be Jeff Baham, Chef Mayhem. It's much better than Jeff Baham, right? So I made up a name for myself, a little mysterious persona, and that's where New Buddies began. That was in the Kansas City Times in 1921, January 1921. So City Times, Walt Disney was around 20. I think Bob Graham came going, and he might have been aware of the newspaper, right? So he might have been over here. And so history's rhyming, right? I'm not trying to tell you anything about Walt Disney in this article, but I'm just trying to show you some really interesting things that are interesting to me that I'm going to start to explore new ways, a little bit more of the kind of the surrounding of the Haunted Mansion mythos, right? This is actually something New Ways can take a minor credit for. And actually David Mumford had not been, so you all might remember David Mumford. He was probably happy with the Disneyana National Fantasy Fan Club. So he had said for years, oh yeah, there was this house in Baltimore that we based the Haunted Mansion on. But he just kind of said it in passing, and he's written it in his articles and things. No one really knew much about that. And then an Imagineer told me, I was looking, he wrote to me an email, so I was looking at this book in the Walt Disney Archives, or the library or something, and he said, I found this photograph. So this is printed in a book in 1950, right? This is not a Haunted Mansion. This is the Shipley Lighter House printed in that book, right? And so he said, I think this is really interesting because Disney had been, we had known Ken Anderson had designed the Haunted Mansion with the sketch, right? But that's pretty, and then Sam McKim painted it, right? But I don't know, that's a pretty strong resemblance, right? So now Jason Sorrell had to go back, and actually I was kind of friendly with Jason Sorrell, and he had just published the Haunted Mansion book, timed with the movie, when the Imagineer sent me this and figured it out, and I wrote to him and I said, hey, all this stuff about Evergreen House, we've heard a lot of stories about the history of the Haunted Mansion architecture. I said, you might want to take a look at this. And he said, why don't you tell me this now? Luckily, they've reprinted the book a number of times, and so he did include this into the book a dozen times. What is a Haunted Mansion fan? What makes a Haunted Mansion fan? In fact, I'm in the middle of doing an interview for a magazine right now. They're asking me, what is a Haunted Mansion fan? I'm trying to figure out what to say, right? So there's a new documentary movie out called Foolish Mortals, and we're going to bring up the producer, the director right now, that tackle this question. And I got to be honest, when they came to me and were talking about, hey, we're going to do this documentary about Haunted Mansion fans, I was skeptical that there is an answer to this question, because we're all Haunted Mansion fans. What is it that all of us, we can sum up and say, this makes who you are, right? Well, they answered it in a really amazing way. So, Ryan Grolich and James Carter, second, right? Come on up. They're going to talk about this movie. I've seen it. It's really an incredible documentary. So without any further ado,
Thank you. Oh, am I as loud as I feel?
They had a podium here before. Thank you all for being here, and all of the people who came before us. Wow, tough act to follow. Jeff, we're definitely those guys that come up to you in emails and go, hey, we're Animatronics fans. So thanks for playing. But yeah, so we're here because we made a film that's basically a meta commentary on Haunted Mansion fan culture. And it features a lot of really cool people, a few of which who are in this room now. You'd like to raise your hand if you're in the film?
He's not gonna raise his hand.
Oh, Jack. So yeah, in this one, yeah. There's several of you in the room, and we sure are grateful to have you. We did do a very small run of DVDs for this film. We sold some in Orlando last week, and we're selling some here this week, and it will be available after if you're interested. We're going to show you just a small clip of the film. Certainly hope you enjoy it. This is my partner and best friend, James, and he's going to introduce the film. Thanks for having us.
Hey everybody. I just want to say that we would not have a film without Dune Buggies, because Dune Buggies was the first thing that brought the concept of the Haunted Mansion fan even existed. When I first found Dune Buggies, I was like, oh wow, other people like this ride besides me? Enough to make a website, so I definitely trace back the origins of making this film to Dune Buggies. So let's have another round of applause for 20 years of Dune Buggies. And yes, we wanted to find out what is a Haunted Mansion fan, and it was it was something that I thought would be easily found actually, but I found out we interviewed over 50 people, and it's not put up into a sentence. I mean, hopefully it's put up in a 90-minute film. But we put together something just for this event. It's a 15-minute preview. Most people have never seen this except for the people that have seen the few screenings. So, without any further ado, here's the 15-minute preview.
Guys, so that was the Disneyana Happy Haunts event. I'm gonna upload some footage specifically of a panel that was done at the event, but for now we're gonna close out this one. What?
This is cool.
Oh yeah, we got buttons. I got
cool stuff,
a book.
But there will be another video
from
with stuff, maybe.
Jeff of Doom Buggies. I got my copy of the Foolish Mortals documentary, which I was in for a little bit, so you gotta check that out on foolishmortalsdoc.com and get your copy. And we got a pair of ears from our table and these amazing embroidered Haunted Mansion napkins and plates. Show the plates, babe. Really pretty.
A million plates. James gave us his plates.
Yeah, James of Foolish Mortals Dog gave us his plates and napkins. He's such a sweetheart.
James is awesome too.
James and Shannon, I love you both so much. So we're gonna go to the show and sale tomorrow where the Disney bat is gonna be on display. So we're gonna close this out for tonight and see you then.